The clock is ticking. Sequence 26. She locked up the doors and switched off the lights before she walked back to her room. She sank to the floor and buried her face into her hands. She couldn't comprehend what had just happened. One moment she was saying goodbye to him, the next moment he was kissing her. Taking a deep breath, she rose to her feet and changed into her pajamas and crawled into bed next to Trinny. Then she pulled the sheets over them and waited for sleep to overtake her. He made it back home in good time. It was a little after 22. He put his keys on the table and went straight to his room. Chard knew he had crossed the line in their relationship, but he could not feel regret for having kissed her. He tossed his bow tie on the bed, slipping his jacket off as well. Frustrated, he stepped out of his room into the living room. Then he went straight to his bar and poured himself a drink before sitting on the couch. His imagination was running wild. Did she like the kiss as much as he did? Had she felt the same underlying attraction he felt when their lips touched? Had it felt as wonderful and perfect to her as it did to him? And most importantly, did she want to kiss him again? Because he sure did want to kiss her again, a dozen more times after that. Mattie turned and tossed in her bed trying to sleep but failed miserably. Inside her, her mind was filled with a mess of emotions and thoughts all centered around one single thing: the kiss. For some reason she couldn't get the kiss out of her head. When their lips touched, she had felt something shift within her, something she had never felt before. There were no words to describe that feeling. She pressed her fingers against her lips as she recalled the kiss, his warm breath, his sweet lips. Just thinking about the kiss made her breath catch. Oh God, she groaned. Her emotions were swelling inside. Why was she even torturing herself? Chard was out of her league. The kiss obviously meant nothing to him. She cut off all thoughts about him and closed her eyes again, hoping she would sleep this time around. He gulped down his beer and poured himself another glass and then another. He was angry and frustrated because he couldn't get Mattie out of his mind. He had tried watching football but her face kept popping up. He sighed heavily and drank some more. The kiss had stirred a deep longing for her. He wanted something more. Just thinking of her lips made him shiver. No other woman had left him feeling like this. Chard wasn't one to spend the night thinking about a woman. It hadn't been this intense even with Nicole. Mattie was driving him crazy. He had hoped the feeling would go away, but it kept growing every passing day. He picked up his phone, scrolled through the numbers of the women he'd been sleeping with. He could call one of them and fuck Mattie out of his system. He punched in Salma's number in his phone and quickly dialed. It rang once. Hello. She answered. He opened his mouth to speak but no sound came out. Hello. Babe, are you there? Chard quickly closed his mouth, biting his lips in the process before he cut the line. He stood up and walked towards his room. He had to get some sleep. Maybe, just maybe, he could wake up feeling a whole lot better. His phone rang just as he walked into his room. He stared at the screen before switching it off and putting it on the table. He undressed, eased down under the blankets and closed his eyes. She rolled over in her bed and glanced at the time on her phone, which glowed 4 a.m. She sighed. She hadn't been able to sleep. She got out of bed, put on her running clothes and quietly tiptoed downstairs. She knew 4 a.m. was very early, but she felt like running. That was the only way she would clear her mind. Unlocking the door, she stepped out of the house. It was still dark, but she felt strong and in awe of natural beauty surrounding her. She strode toward the highway. She wasn't comfortable with her normal route after what happened last time, so she used a random route. She had been on for nearly 2 hours before decided to head back home. The sun was finally coming. She was panting for air as she walked back. He cringed as the sunlight streamed across his face. His head was pounding, his eyes fluttered open, and he stumbled out of bed. He then went straight to the bathroom to take a nice hot bath. He walked over to the bathtub and turned the water on. When it was finally filled, he got in and stretched out to soak in the tub. Then he lay back and closed his eyes. After a long hot bath, he walked back to his room wrapped in his towel. He was trying to get dressed when there was a loud knock at the door. Grabbing his towel again and wrapping it around his waist, he walked towards the door. He opened the door to find Salma. She had a huge smile on her face. What are you doing here? He asked. You called last night. And so, well, I thought you wanted to see me. You thought wrong. She smiled. pushing past him and entered the house. I know you miss me. I want you to leave, Selma.Chard. Just leave. He grabbed her arm and walked her back to the door and slammed it in her face. She walked into the house and spotted her sister Vanessa. She was cuddling on the couch with Trinny. The two of them made a pretty picture. Who would have believed her sister would come to love Trinny this much? She headed over to join them when Trinny saw her. Mummy, you are back, she Sadie's mama bear. I missed you. I woke up and found you were not by my side. Oh, sorry. Her sister looked at her and smiled. Jogging? She asked. You've always been committed to your morning run. Well, I love to keep fit, and that's even the perfect time for me to think clearly. How was dinner last night? Dinner was amazing. Chard seems like a nice guy. How long have you guys been together? We are just friends. Friends? Yes. He likes you. Says who? I saw how he was eyeing you the other time. Oh please. I am serious, and I am sure you feel the same. No. She stood up. See how your face is glowing. I am going to take a bath. She hurried out of the room before Vanessa could protest. Vanessa laughed. They were watching a movie when the door suddenly burst open and their mother walked into the house. Mother. Vanessa instantly sat up. She stared at Vanessa, then at Mattie. Her eyes burned with rage as her hands began to shake. How dare you? She pointed at Mattie. Mattie shot her a confused look. What? Your sister left her matrimonial home and came to squat here. Being the eldest, you were supposed to advise her to go back home, but you let her stay here for days. Do you want her to be single like you? Mother, that man is no good for her. What do you know about me? He abuses her. That's none of your business. And you, she looked at Vanessa, you are coming with me right now.